something different today. I haven't drafted mono red at all in Cube, not once, and it looks like I have a perfect pack to try that. I have a Call of the Hammer over the Brimstone Volley and the Avalanche Riders. Looks like it's a pretty solid pack here with Sylvan Library, Tutor, Path to Exile, along with a fetch land and stuff. So I think I'm going to wheel one of these back. So let's take the cloth and see how it goes. If the mono red plan doesn't work, and let's say green is also open with like a Fauna Shaman or a Survival, I might go for the Sneak Attack gimmick deck. Just draft a lot of big cards like some of the Eldrazi's, my favorite Terracodon, stuff like that, and just try to combo people out with it. And ooh, look at this. This is a great pack for mono red too. We got Shrine of the Burning Rage, which I think is excellent, and Goblin Guide. And I think those are the two clear picks for us. Just gonna take the Shrine because I think Goblin Guide's gonna last longer. I've seen Goblin Guides go really late. Unless someone's going mono red, Goblin Guide's probably not the card that you want. And I'm gonna take that and be happy. Once again, we're doing a Swiss draft because I want to get all 3 rounds in with Cube. Not really looking forward to earning back my ticks with it. I think spending the Cube ticks and a couple of real moto ticks just to play with the Cube is a good enough value in itself, and I'm not going to try to worry about making money or ticks with the Urza's pack. So I think that's just doing it wrong in my opinion. I don't know, it just seems like it's going to require a lot more work to get back your money than it is just to have fun and play the 3 rounds. Plus, if I draft a sweet deck and I get screwed somehow and I lose out, I'm going to be quite upset. So, yeah. I'll save myself some psychic damage, I guess. Okay, well, there's a couple of choices. There's Chandra's Phoenix, Fire, not the ice part, and Fire Blast. Before we take the pick here, and it's going to be the Fire Blast, so I'm just going to right-click it. Mono red isn't always mono red. Sometimes you splash for another color. The other color you usually want to splash for is blue or maybe even green. The reason being that although red-black is traditionally one of the more powerful aggro combinations in Cube, a lot of the black base beatdown cards are so black mana heavy they can't really play it, especially in a mostly red deck. So that's the reason why I try to stay away from a red-black deck. So I'm going to take the Fire Blast, and hopefully we'll never ever see the person who took the Thragtusk, because that card, just like in Standard, hoses us pretty hard. At least I think it does. I can't really speak with too much authority. This is my first mono red draft. Maybe you could just, walk right through a Thragtusk like it's nothing. But I don't think that's really likely. Okay, looks like another pretty clear pick here. I think it's going to be the Bonfire over the Berserker. I don't think there's anything else here. This pack is kind of loose, kind of weak. I think the weakest cards here are going to be like the All Sun's Dawn and some of these Pain Lands. So there's, and maybe the Jushi's Apprentice, but I think we can wield the Stormborn Berserker, and there's, I think, 0% chance we're going to wield the Bonfire, so we're just going to take that. And, okay. This pack is full of blanks, and there's the Sneak Attack we're talking about. I guess if Sneak Attack wasn't there, it was some kind of like other card, not for us, we'd probably think about taking the Torch Fiend or the Mishra's Factory. I think the Mishra's Factory is the pick here, to be honest. We're mostly red. Having a 2/2 beats on the land is going to be pretty cool. So I'm just going to take the Mishra's Factory. And if the Sneak Attack does get wheeled past to us, and I feel like the red deck isn't coming together, then we'll go with the Sneak Attack deck, I promise. And we'll just see if that deck is any good. Probably not, because no one takes Sneak Attack, ever. So we're 5 picks in. I think we got a solid core here. We need some dudes. I think we're going to wheel some dudes back, so yeah. Okay, this pack is pretty good if you want to go into the Storm deck. We got the Tendrils and the Nostalgic Dreams and the Memory Jar. These 3 are solid. I guess if you're black base, you could get this in there for the tutoring ability. But there's a Thundermaw Helokite. I think this is one of the best 5-drops for red. Probably don't want to go with multiple 5-drops in red. You want to keep the curve as low as possible, but I think Thundermaw might be the premium one. Lava Axe on the stick. Alright, curve's pretty high here. We got a Bonfire, which we want to fire off for at least like 2 or 3, right? And then you got a Fire Blast, which is a free spell most likely, and then we have a 4 and a 5 and a Shrine. Although a 2-drop doesn't really do anything immediately when it comes to play. So let's see if we can fix this. Oh, this is a sweet pack for us, right? Grim Lavamancer, Chain Lightning, and a Kragon Dragonlord. We're going to wheel any of these 9 cards. The worst card's going to be most likely... No, we're not going to wheel any of these. There's a late Lotus Corporal for somebody. I think the choice is between the Dragonlord and the Chain Lightning. We don't really have dudes, so the Dragonlord's pretty sweet. The Grim Lavamancer, while solid, we don't really have ways to fill up the graveyard ourselves. I'm going to take the Dragonlord. I don't have any creatures except for the Koth and the Thunder Kite. I think we need to build a creature curve first, and if the Chain Lightning comes to us, it comes to us, but there's a lot of cards like Chain Lightning in Cube. Maybe not as much damage to one target, but geez. Okay. There's a late Emrakul and a Hero Boxer Bridge. The reason why I'm hesitating here is that I think our deck's coming together, but I kind of don't want it to come together, so I could take the Emrakul and try to sneak attack deck. And I think the Hero Boxer Bridge is just meh. So I'm going to take the Emrakul here, and just as a hedge, and me being a very combo-ish, have fun, crazy guy, I guess. So, okay, there's a Brain Freeze for a Storm deck if we went there. I'm going to take the Brimstone Volley, but continuing the Emrakul thought, yeah, in case this deck kind of falls apart, or we go 0-2, and go into our last round just playing for giggles, then I'll go with the Sneak Attack Emrakul, because I'm pretty sure the Sneak Attack is going to wheel back. I mean, there's... Wow! Sneak Attack didn't wheel back, and we just wasted a pick. Sadness. Alright, let's hide this and erase this from my memory. This never happened. What's the pick here? Enter destroy target non-basic land. I'm just going to take the Welder. I'll be very... Wow, there's... Oh, jeez, who didn't take a Thragtusk? Because nobody green? Sweet Jehovah. We're going to take the Thragtusk away from somebody. Goblin Welder is probably not going to be in our deck, and if it is, it's going to be because we need 1-drops for a Berserker and stuff. Okay, this is the pack with the Sneak Attack. Then the previous pack is the one with the Goblin Guide. So someone took a Goblin Guide. Oh, that's dirty. I'm going to take the Sneak Attack here. I'm going to hide it. Just going to put in my memory bank that I have a Sneak Attack. In fact, let's open up a notepad here. Sure, no Storm for anybody. Now, this would have been a pretty good pack. Trying to go into Storm, I guess. You had a couple of the key components for a Storm deck. You had Tendrils, you had Brain Freeze. Then you had like ways to bring stuff back from the graveyard, like Nathalia Stream and stuff like that. So that would have been pretty sweet. Let's see. Let's go to Notepad. We have Sneak Attack and Emrakul. Okay, and so this is just going to be like a mental reminder that we do have a sweet card like that. So we do have a plan B in case stuff really falls apart. And okay, I'm not really wishing that it falls apart, but in case it does. Okay, I haven't drafted mono red, so either Skullclamp is amazing in mono red or just mediocre. Incinerate's always going to be good. It's an Incinerate, for goodness sake, right? Do I take the Skullclamp or the Incinerate? Ooh. You know what? I'm just going to take the Skullclamp here. It might be the wrong pick. You guys could yell at me in the comment section, I guess. But it's the pick that I want to make. So I'm going to make it. And, okay. I've been drafting Storm lately. My past 2 videos have been about Storm. Like, I haven't seen a Time Twister when I've gone for a Storm deck. That's a card that I really want to see in the Storm deck because it just refills the hand, builds up the Storm count. I mean, it does everything what you want it to do. It's also a turnabout. So if I was going to go Storm, I'll probably take the Time Twister and hopefully the turnabout would wheel. But in this deck that we're playing right now, I think the pick is going to be a Char. And if one of these 2 wheel, that's fine. I don't think Firestorm's great in mono red, but I want to try it. I think it's fun. And, okay, we have a Yawgmoth's Will for that mono red deck again. Seem to be obsessing about that a little bit, as you could probably tell. I think the pick here is clearly Zealous Conscripts. It's the only red card. I don't think there's any other card here I want to splash for. I guess we have a mini combo with this stuff. That's kind of silly. I'm going to take the Conscript, and I think that's going to close us off in the 5 drops. We need to fill up the lower drops, definitely. And, all right. There's a Wasteland here, which I like. I like wastelanding things, especially when I'm an aggro deck. I want people to get greedy with their mana base and just punish you. There's Consuming Vapors, which is probably really good against us. And there's a Cackler, which I think is the best pick for us. But let's see, there's 12 cards left in the pack. This is not a great pack. We don't really have 1-drops. I should take the Cackler. But I'm going to take the Wasteland. I think this is the more... This is an unreplaceable effect. There's only 1 card like this. 1 other card like this in Strip Mine, which is better. And whenever I played like a mono red slide deck, I definitely was running Wastelands and Strip Mines and stuff like that to punish people. And wow, Upheaval. Another key card to the Storm deck. I feel like I'm a person going on a first date after he got dumped. I'm just talking about the other deck, the other person that I could be with or drafting instead of the deck I have right now, which is a perfectly fine serviceable deck right now. Nothing wrong with it. I think the pick here is going to be Arc Trail. More burn. Hellspark Elemental is probably going to wheel. Unless you're mono red, this card's really poopy. And this is pretty poopy. We got the Frenzied Goblin. Second worst Chandra, which is not saying much since Chandra Blazes. Just pure poop. But I think I want to play the Blood Braid Elf here. Not really high in the 4-drops here. And we could splash the green for it, so yeah, Blood Braid. Who doesn't like to cascade into stuff? Okay, Molten Rain is going to continue our land destruction theme. Wheel of Fortune, I'm also noting because of the Storm deck. I don't know. Is this annoying talking about the Storm deck this much? I don't find it annoying. I love Storm. Yeah, I like playing combo decks if possible. Just going to go to the cost sort just to see where we're at. And definitely need the 1-drop. We need the Cackler back. Okay, speaking of 1-drops, 8 packs left. We're not going to be seeing any of these cards back. So I think we have to take the Spike Shot Elder here. I would love it if the Rune Blaster was in a previous pack so we could have a chance to wield it. I think a Rune Blaster would be super sweet in a deck like this. But we gotta take the Spike Shot Elder. It's a 1-drop, ping stuff, which isn't really too relevant. We don't really have anything that augments its power, except for Skull Clamp, which will just kill it. So, you know, that kind of sucks. That's a drawback. That's a deal breaker. And it's our original pack back. Badlands to potentially splash black when we have this. No. For the reasons why I stated before, we're not going to be splashing black for anything. There's a card here that really hurts us. I'm just going to take the Thalia away from somebody. I don't think that card hurts us, but I think that's the best card overall there. So there are a couple of cards that could wheel back to us. Some of them are some of the less powerful 1-drops in red. Forgot the names, like the Goblin Vandal, I think is one of them. There's the Goblin, when you attack, you can pay red to make target creature not be able to block for this turn. I think those are the cards that we really want wheel to us. Can't believe the Goblin guy taken away. I guess people, it was a blank pack for somebody and they decided that they don't want somebody to have a really good mono red deck. So, and again, I can't quite recall. I think it was the Shrine that I took over it, but okay. So there's a decision. Firestorm. Excuse me. Or Vandal. I think it's Vandal. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Vandal. Firestorm's probably not good in the mono red deck. Firestorm's probably good in maybe a sneak attack deck, sneak attack reanimator deck type deck. like a Jun sneak attack reanimator. I think that has a pretty sweet ring to it. Maybe I'll force that one of these days. But with the holiday cube, it's kind of difficult to do because you're not going to be seeing all the cards present in the pack. The size of the cube set is larger than the number of cards opens. So you could go for the deck and get the pieces and just not get sneak attack, for instance. And if that were to happen, I think you would be pretty boned. So, okay, I think the name of the card that I'm thinking about is Frenzied Goblin. That could still appeal to us, and hopefully we'll get that. I guess Skull Clamp's pretty sweet in this deck. We could augment the power and toughness to our later drops. If they happen to get killed, we get to draw cards to refresh our hand, and we got 3 1-drop dorks over here that I guess after the early game just will gladly die for a cause, including Welder. Although, let's face it, if our deck comes together and is really good, probably don't want to play Welder. Nothing here except for storm cards. I'm just going to take a Sphinx's Revelation away from somebody. Just as a side note, I really hate Standard and the way it's going right now. Thragtusk being a single green in its casting cost instead of like triple green like Garruk Primal Hunter is just obscene. It's okay. This is the pack where the red card was. It's not there. We're just going to be taking away the Mastical for somebody. We might just play it ourselves. But Thragtusk being a single green in its casting cost, come on, that's just who came up with that idea? I mean, it's so splashable. It goes into every stupid deck that could, you know, splash for a single green in their 5-drop, which is every deck known to existence. And the situation is only going to get worse when gatecrash happens and we get more additional dual lands that could produce green. So that and Sphinx's Revelation. So you slow the game up enough with Thragtusk, Centaur Healers, Rock's Faith Menders, and all this other life gain. Then you make it completely out of reach with a Sphinx's Revelation. So the format kind of seems healthy, but it really isn't. Like the red-black aggro decks could beat like the super slow Sphinx's Revelation decks that just have given up everything in the early and the mid game and decided to play like Sphinx's Revelation and 56 other lands pretty much. So they could beat that, but then as soon as the Sphinx's Revelation decks just, you know, die down a little bit, all the mid-range decks are going to come over and they're going to destroy the red-black decks. So it seems like rock paper scissors, but if you let this standard like evolve to its natural conclusion, I think what you're going to do, what you're going to see is you're going to see Sphinx's Revolution decks that have more of a game against the red-black aggro decks, and like 1 or 2 cards to beat the mirror match. So I'm going to think like a band deck with Nefali's Johnyard with a little bit more cards like in their sideboard, like in the main board to deal with the red-black aggro decks. And then they're going to just try to beat each other with the Nefali's Johnyard because they don't really interact. It's like watching 2 uninteractive games just like collide against each other and determine the winner sort of randomly. I'm just going to reach down port so I can ramble on more about Standard. And mid-range is going to be hated out because the Sphinx's Revelation decks just beat it. They beat it because their threats start around 3 and 4. The Sphinx's Revelation decks answers start at 3 or 4, but they're better because they're wrath effects. And the Sphinx's Revelation deck's threats are multiple card advantage threats, like Sphinx's Revelation. So what their deck is doing is they're having answers at the same speed as you. So they're matching you 1 for 1. And as soon as they could like limit your before I continue on this rant, the pick here is going to be Sulfuric Vortex. It's the best card in Mono Red, I think. It's the only card that does what it does, which is 3 casting costs. Everyone takes 2 damage. Life can't be gained. Just the best card, period. And yeah, this pack is solid. We got the Control Magic, Stoneforge Mystic, and Time Spiral. Natural Order, which I love in green, with a Terracodon or even Woodfall Premise. That combo is just underrated in my opinion. I think it should be explored more. So we're going to take the Sulfuric Vortex. So, like I was saying, the blue-white base decks have Wraths and Planeswalkers that deal with your cards 1 for 1. When they decide they want to get card advantage, they have Wraths, which is natural card advantage in that you're going to have multiple threats on the board before they fire it off or they're going to be dying. And then you Sphinx's Revelation, which gains you life and draws you cards. So I think the format's going to get slower and slower. Again, the red-black deck Saw resurgence, which surprised me, to be honest, because I didn't think that the slow decks were going to go so slow that it's going to completely ignore the fast decks, and it did, and it paid its price, and looks like the slow decks are on the rise again. The mid-range decks are going to be easily hated out. The bad decks are going to be taking over again, and there's nothing really we could do about it. The pick here is going to be the Mox Ruby. Even in the mono red deck that requires mountains and stuff, free acceleration, free mana, can't beat it. And if you guys are wondering why a mid-range deck could beat a red-black aggro deck, it's that their creatures are generally better than their aggro creatures. They just have to live long enough to do it. The red-black decks, or the aggro decks, even white-green, have the early advantage. They're going to get damaged through. With the red-green and the mid-range, they're going to be red-green base, right? They're going to be green base. They're going to play like multiple cards that could generate value for them. Master of the Wild, Thragtusk, Centaur Healer, stuff like that. So they're going to mulch up the ground, try to get to a stalemate situation, and they're going to have this card called Bonfire of the Damned, which I'm sure all of you are aware how powerful it is. So if you create a stalemate position and you Bonfire for anything, and against these weenie decks, it's probably going to be 2 or greater. You're going to completely wipe out their board. You're going to be able to swing back that turn for an obscene amount of damage. And the red-black decks don't really have any kind of effects that duplicate it. They could try to beat you with by going over you with Vulcan Wrath Aristocrats and then Thundermaws, but unless they curve out perfectly, the green-based mid-range decks could outlast it, Bonfire, and then win. We're going to take the Curse Scroll. It's just the best one drop. There's nothing that duplicates it except for Magus of the Scroll, and I'm not sure Magus of the Scroll is inside the cube. There's a Magma Jet in there that we want to wield. We are a little bit light on burn. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 burn spells. I don't really count this as burn. I consider this like an I win card. So I'm pretty happy with the direction our deck is going. We're going to take the Emerald Hauler. I think we're going to wield the Teetering Peaks. Unless someone hate drafts it, but this is a pretty powerful pack. The worst cards are Delver, Duress, and the Sacromancy. Who goes mono black here? Take that. Okay, so let's see. We have 25 playables here. 4 of them are lands, so we have 21. I think I want to run 16 lands in a deck like this. Well, 15 with a Mox, of course. That means... excuse me. We're going to need 3 more picks for our deck. Jeez Louise, look at this pack. I think people realize that Dark Confidant is really not that spectacular in a cube draft. But a Noble Hierarch this late is just unfathomable to me. I think Noble Hierarch is one of the more powerful cards in cube. It does everything you want. It accelerates, color fixes, plus it pumps up stuff. In fact, I think I'm going to take away the Noble Hierarch. Play the GOP. Seems like the clear pick, but look at our lands. We don't have any bounce lands, and we don't have any fetch lands. So we can't get any of the +4/+4 bonuses. We can't even consistently get the +2/+2 bonuses. So I'm just going to take that away from somebody, and we're going to hide this. Okay. I think the pick here is going to be Bulwark Ramgang for us. It's the only 3-drop we have as a creature. It's haste, does everything we want it to do. I'm just taking a look at these other cards. Stronghold's a strong card, I think. Vindicate's a strong card. Necrotal's underrated. The fact that it's black is holding it back. Again, I think black is the weakest color in cube. And the best way I could... I like to talk in analogies, and one of the ways I could describe cube decks and archetypes that you should go into is that cube is like Legacy with a draft portion. And before I go on, we have a fetch land, a Keldon Marauders, and a Turian Mauler, otherwise known as Nuts. There's 8 cards in this pack, so we're not going to wheel any of them. We don't want the Blood Grip. We're going to smash the green for the Blood Braid. Maybe not even. I think the pick is the Marauders. I think they're more powerful. I think getting in for 5 damage is better than a change thing that could get in for more. And, geez, look at this. Balance, opposition, and the Dream Halls for the combo deck. I mean, whew, this is a very powerful cube. Back to cube being legacy with the draft portion, I really feel like that's the case. And okay, we're gonna take the Menriki, not for the main deck, but for the sideboard, in case we run into like a Cheetah or like a sword we can't deal with, and just see if that works. Man, I keep on losing my train of thought. Yeah, cube is like legacy with a draft portion. The best decks in cube usually have an analog to a legacy deck that works. So Reanimator is a legacy deck, obviously. Mono Red Burn is a legacy deck. And we're just gonna take an Apocryphite. Yeah. It's gonna combo with a Goblin Welder. Probably not, but a boy could semi-fantasize and dream. Yeah, and so if you look at all the successful archetypes in cube, you could find an example in legacy. And if you want to find like things that don't really quite work out in cube, you could find that it doesn't really quite work out in oh, there's a Mind's Desire Lake. Jeez, I wish I wasn't. I wish I wasn't Storm this draft. We're going to take the Tin Street Hooligan. We're going to be splashing the green. I think destroying an artifact's better than the E2 encampment, which comes into play tapness along with some of our colorless lands here. Is might hurt us developing into our curve. So that's the reason. Wow. Okay, no respect. No respect. I love you still. I respect you. Yeah, and if it's like mono black beats, there's no mono black beats deck in legacy, and the reason being is that it's not good enough when you're dealing all these powerful cards. It's just not good enough to compete with it. And if cube is like legacy with the draft portion, why would you draft the deck that's not represented in legacy? You should draft a deck that's dominating legacy. So if you want to go for like Stoneforge Mystic equipment based tempo deck, you could build this in cube, and you probably have a very solid powerful cube deck along with it. That's all our picks. Oh. I didn't even realize that was pack 3. So let's see, is there any other deck? I guess like Storm deck is powerful in legacy, or was powerful. It's still viable in cube, although it's not dominating. Reanimator is viable in cube. It's just not dominating in legacy. So yeah, if you want to like draw on ideas on what to build in cube, and you want like a inspiration of what you can build, I would just look at legacy deck lists and see what you could build in a 40 card one-up version and try to do that in cube. And I think that'll open up a lot of deck ideas for you and open up your horizons, so you could realize that there are different things you can actually draft and have fun with. And let's just build our mono red deck. The Welder's going to be a maybe. I think the Vandal is going to be a maybe. Spike Shot Elder for sure. Marauders, Tin Street, Stormbind for sure. Arc Trail for sure. We're a little light on Burn. Brimstone for sure. Molten Rain's going to go to a burn section along with Sulfuric Vortex. They're just there to burn stuff. This is our plan B. Koth is a drop. It's a creature. It's a creature that can't block. It's harder to kill than usual, but it's definitely a creature. I'm going to do this. I'm going to float this in the 2 section because we could start playing it turn 2 on. Not that you necessarily want to do it, but it's there. It's an option. We're a little creature light here. Definitely playing the Vulgar Ram gang, and I gotta remind myself that creatures are +1. And my notepad telling me that we have Emrakul and Sneak Attack still around. Could actually go do that if we want to. I like Blood Braid off. I like splashing for it. That's going to make our Tin Street Hooligan much less embarrassing. We have 18 cards here. This is going to go into our burn pile. This should be here since it says a 2-drop. Curse Scroll is going to be here. It's a burn card. Yeah, we're a little... Well, I didn't think we were going to be this light in playables. Or like really solid playables. But I guess we are. A little bit surprising to me. I think I'm going to put the Goblin Welder in. I don't know about the Vandal. The reason why I want to put that in is because I want to do Skull Clamp, Shrine, Curse Scroll shenanigans. Just recycle them. Especially since we're going to be playing with the Mox Ruby for sure. We're not going to be playing with the Chrome Mox. I think we're going to be playing with the Master Core here. It's quick. I think it's quick. It's pretty quick. You could ping stuff out of the way. We don't really mind playing with very little cards in our hand. And I'm going to play the Apocryphite too. It's going to combo with our Curse Growl and the Goblin Welder. I think Apocryphite is a little underrated. It's not as unplayable as it seems. I guess that's the biggest compliment I could give it. And Skull Clamp's going to combo with our 1-drops, the Apocryphite, the Hauler since you could sacrifice it, 10th Street Hooligans, and the Marauders with the Fading Away. I think it's called Fading. Is it? No, it's Vanishing. It's the updated Fading. Yeah, and we're going to play 16 lands, 15 lands including this. We're going to add these cards here. And let's add some mountains. Add land. I'm going to suggest they want 2 forests. So we're going to have 10, 11 red sources with 2 green sources. Does that seem fair? We're only splashing for the Bloodbraid here. Okay, I'm going to go 10 red sources, 3 green sources. I think most people would say in the 40-card deck with 1 colored splash, having 2 supporting sources for that is enough, and I would generally agree. But since we're just a mono red deck and we only need basically 2 red and any other color for the Bogart Ramgang, which could be the forest, to fire it off, I think 10 is going to be enough for us, and I feel pretty confident in that. And I want to fire off the Bloodbraid off as soon as I draw it. So we're going to do this, and we're going to submit. And I'll see you guys for round 1. Thanks.